Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a subject that is drawing attention across the globe, the so-called power gun boom. Around the world, nations are pushing their weapons technology to new heights, developing firepower that is more advanced, more destructive, and far more influential on the battlefield than ever before. From Russia to China, from Israel to Yemen, the race for dominance in power gun technology is reshaping modern warfare, redefining strategies and raising serious questions about global security. When we talk about the Russian power gun boom, the first thing that comes to mind is the way Moscow has always relied on heavy artillery and large-scale firepower to establish dominance. Russia has a long tradition of showcasing massive guns, from its Cold War-era weapons to today's modern self-propelled systems. In recent years, Russia has doubled down on developing artillery that can fire at longer ranges with higher accuracy, something that has played a huge role in the ongoing conflicts. Russian power guns aren't just about sheer size. They're about adapting to modern needs, adding precision guidance, and integrating advanced targeting systems. The boom in Russia is driven by both necessity and strategy, as the Kremlin seeks to maintain superiority on the battlefield even while under pressure from international sanctions. China's power gun boom, on the other hand, is a mix of tradition and innovation. Unlike Russia, which has been refining old designs, China is creating new platforms that merge artillery with modern technologies like drones, AI, and satellite guidance. Chinese engineers have been unveiling weapons that can fire at incredible ranges, while also testing electromagnetic railguns, systems that use magnetism rather than traditional gunpowder to launch projectiles at blistering speeds. The Chinese boom is not just about weapons, it's about showing the world that Beijing can compete with and even surpass Western militaries. Every new test, every parade, and every leaked image of these guns sends a message. China wants to lead the arms race in the 21st century. Israel's power gun boom takes a different approach. While Russia and China focus on massive artillery platforms, Israel concentrates on precision and adaptability. Known for its innovation, Israel has created weapons that are smaller, smarter, and incredibly effective in real combat scenarios. The Israeli boom is fueled by the constant need to defend its borders against threats that come from multiple directions. Its artillery and heavy weaponry are integrated with drones, real-time intelligence, and even missile defense systems, creating a layered shield of firepower. Instead of showcasing size, Israel's power gun boom is about effectiveness and survival, ensuring that every shot fired has maximum impact and minimal waste. Yemen's power gun boom might sound surprising, but in recent years the conflict there has turned the country into a battlefield of improvised and modified heavy weapons. Unlike Russia, China, or Israel, Yemen doesn't have a massive defense industry, but the ongoing war has forced local groups to innovate, repurpose, and create their own forms of power guns. From modifying Soviet-era artillery to crafting homemade rocket systems, the Yemeni boom reflects desperation, resilience, and the reality of modern asymmetric warfare. These weapons might not have the polish of Chinese systems or the precision of Israeli guns, but on the battlefield, they deliver real and devastating results. In many ways, Yemen shows how the concept of a power gun boom can take root even in places without advanced technology. Looking deeper, what unites all these nations is the recognition that firepower still matters. Despite the rise of cyber warfare, drones, and satellites, the ability to launch devastating artillery remains a central part of military strategy. Russia relies on artillery to dominate battlefields in Eastern Europe. China is preparing for potential conflicts where long-range firepower will be critical. Israel needs precision guns to defend itself against constant threats. Yemen, with limited resources, has shown that even improvised power guns can tilt the balance of power. In each case, the boom is not just about weapons, it's about survival, influence, and strategy. The global implications are significant. When Russia expands its artillery arsenal, NATO is forced to respond. When China tests futuristic railguns, the United States takes notice and accelerates its own projects. When Israel showcases precise artillery integrated with advanced defense systems, it sets new standards for how modern militaries think about heavy weapons. And when Yemen demonstrates how even improvised systems can change the outcome of war, insurgent groups around the world take notes. The boom is not isolated. It creates ripple effects that touch every corner of the globe. One of the biggest concerns is escalation. The more these countries invest in power guns, the higher the risk of conflicts spiraling out of control. A single strike from a Russian artillery piece can devastate a city block. A Chinese railgun, if perfected, could sink a warship before it even gets close. Israeli systems can neutralize threats with surgical precision, but they also raise the stakes for its adversaries. Yemeni innovations, though crude, can trigger regional escalations that draw in neighboring states. The boom isn't just about technology, it's about the rising danger of confrontation. At the same time, there's a question of balance. Power guns aren't just tools of destruction, they're tools of deterrence. For Russia, the message is clear. Despite sanctions and setbacks, Moscow still wields devastating firepower. For China, the boom is about showing strength without firing a shot, demonstrating that any challenger will face overwhelming weapons. For Israel, artillery is part of its survival mechanism, ensuring that no enemy believes it can strike without consequences. For Yemen, the boom reflects a fight for survival, proving that even under siege, local forces can strike back. Each nation's boom tells a story not just of war, but of survival and identity. Looking to the future, the power gun boom is only going to intensify. Russia is likely to push harder on integrating precision with brute force. China will continue to experiment with futuristic concepts like railguns and hypersonic projectiles. Israel will refine its precision-driven systems, making them smarter, faster, and deadlier. Yemen, and nations like it, will continue to improvise, proving that even without high budgets, power guns can evolve in unexpected ways. The boom isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. What does this mean for the rest of the world? It means the battlefield is being reshaped in ways we haven't fully understood yet. Wars of the future may not just be about cyber attacks or drones in the sky, they may also be about devastating artillery that can fire faster, farther, and with more accuracy than anything we've seen before. The power gun boom is a reminder that in the end, firepower still matters. It remains one of the most direct, powerful, and feared tools of warfare. And as we watch Russia, China, Israel, and Yemen push their own versions of the boom, we can only wonder how long it will be before these systems clash directly. The stakes are higher than ever, and the future of global security may very well be decided not just in boardrooms or through diplomacy, but through the roar of power guns echoing across the battlefield.